Hello everyone and welcome to another training video. So today we are going to once again execute a missed approach, but this time at runway 07 at Lanzaria Airport. And when we will be flying the missed approach, when explaining the chart, there are a few things that you need to pay attention to, because we need to track the distance from the ILS but the radial from the VOR and such things. So pay attention to that. And also the entry to the holding pattern this time will be a teardrop entry. So once again, because I can't show you the chart in game, I will present to you the chart and pay attention to the little subtleties between the DME we will be using and the radial we will be using. And once we have done with the chart, I will see you again in the helicopter. This is the chart we will be working with, the Lanzaria International ILS runway 07. So either you download this chart, or when I will be showing it full screen in the video, you can make a screenshot so that you can use it alongside the video. When you watch it, you will understand better what's happening. So here we will be flying towards runway 07, heading 066, ILS approach to the runway, and then we will execute a missed approach. But you have to be very attention to some of the things we need to do here, because it's going to be a little bit different from what we've done previously. So the instruction for the missed approach is here: climb to 8,000 feet. This we understand, no problem. We need to climb to 8,000 feet and maintain runway track. The runway track is going to be 066. So climb 066, 8,000 feet. And here we need to continue until we reach 2.7 DME LAI. Now LAI is the ILS, the VOR is LIV. So it's telling us that we still need to get the reading from LAI, the ILS, for the distance. So far so good, no problem. So 2.7 on the DME, distance from the ILS to our helicopter. We start a left turn onto heading 200. With your left turn heading 200 to intercept radial 246 LIV. Now LIV is the VOR, so we need to intercept the radial 246 of the VOR, but still tracking the distance of LAI, which is the ILS. Okay, so the distance is LAI, but the radial is for the VOR. That's why we have two nav radio, nav 1 and nav 2. It sounds complicated, but in the helicopter I will show you how we can do this to track distance from one source but radial from another source. Okay, so we are on our way heading 200 to intercept the radial. Now let's talk about the traffic pattern itself. So we assume we will be already at 8,000 feet here, coming and on radial 246 until we reach, as instructed here, 18.6 DME LAI. This is the point, 18.6 DME LAI, and the traffic pattern should be right turn like this, except that we are coming from, as you can see here, from this direction. Okay, so we saw direct entry 2 videos ago. Previous video we saw parallel entry. Okay, now we're going to see teardrop entry. We're going to come from this direction, and when we reach this point, what we will do is we will offset inside. All the turns, all the maneuvers have to be done inside the holding pattern area. So we will offset this by 30 degrees. So instead of 246, we will be flying 216. Okay, we'll be flying a heading of 216. Okay, maybe for 1 minute, and then we will turn and capture what will be then heading 066. And from there, once we reach 18.6 DME, it's the same thing. We turn right this time for the traffic pattern, and when we are outbound, 1 minute, and then turn again, as we've been doing. So the only difference here is we are going to be executing a teardrop approach, and I explain once again how it is going to be. So we are going to be flying heading 216, because we minus 30 degrees from this reading here. So we will be going like this. For after 1 minute we turn and get back on the holding pattern. Okay, so because of the shape, it will describe like this and then like this. This is why we call it a teardrop entry. So don't get confused. We need to track LAI for distance, but LIV for radial. Now we are going to see how it's done in the helicopter. So back to the helicopter. I hope you understand now that we're going to be tracking the distance from the ILS, but the radial of the VOR. So I will unpause the game, and I'm already, as you can see here, on ILS, and ILS is on VOR2, that is nav 2 here. There it is, 110.7, the ILS 117.40 for the VOR, and actually, as you can see here, we are using VOR2 because that's the ILS and that's the DME. We're descending, already on glide slow. Okay, so far so good, and of course I've already set the altimeter properly. So as usual, once we get closer to the runway, we will switch to manually and flying the helicopter, and from there we will execute the mixed approach. So mixed approach, as explained, it's going to be climb to 8,000 feet, maintain a runway track which is going to be 066, and actually I will set my heading bug. If it's not set already, it's already set. There we go. So let's get closer to the runway, and here once again, as you can see, I'm tracking DME nav 2. Okay, this is nav 1, this is nav 2, so it will remain here, because even if we change VOR 2 to VOR 1 here, we will still be tracking VOR 2. That is the nav 2, the signal we have in nav 2, the frequency we have in nav 2, because that's the ILS frequency, as already explained in the chart presentation. So now I'm gonna disconnect autopilot and get ready to manually fly the helicopter. Once again, that little discrepancy between the collective in the helicopter and my thruster, aka, because I don't have an actual collective, I'm using the HOTAS as stick and collective, driving pedals as rudder. So here let's get a little bit closer to the runway, and for whatever reason, it's not necessarily not seeing the runway, there might be other things. It can be the speed, you're comfortable with the speed, or your altitude, or whatever. The reason might be for you to execute a missed approach, and we're going to be executing the missed approach now. So raise the collective, climb, and try to maintain like 70 knots. Okay, I'm climbing, still manually flying the helicopter. I'm announcing that was on ATC that I'm going around missed approach. I'm climbing now that I'm established in a climb. I switched to once again SAS as usual when and flying, so now I will switch back to SAS, heading, altitude. There we go. So of course the helicopter is gonna cheat a little bit, so we are supposed to be climbing to 8,000. That's the first thing we will do, make it climb. We can already start the climb here, and then continue inputting the altitude. So that's 8,000. I would have preferred that click. Okay, and there we go. And now remember that we are still, on heading mode. we are still tracking the distance from the ILS. So here I can switch to VOR 1, and what we will need to track is actually radial, like it said here, 246. So I'm gonna input 246. There it is. So still the DME of the frequency we input here in nav2, which is the ILS as per the chart. So 0.8, still climbing, runway track. So we are supposed to make the turn to the left when this reads 2.7. So this is going to be the source to VOR 1. But the radial is going to be VOR 1 or frequency in nav 1 radio, but the DME is going to be 4 and 2, nav 2 radio. Okay, so let me zoom it like this. There we go. So 1.8, so 2.7. We start our left turn. So we are still on heading mode here. Okay, so 1000 to go. So 2.1, 2.2, getting ready to turn to a heading of 200. Turn left. 200. So 2.4. 5. So this will remain on N2 because we need to track the LAI ILS 2.7. There we go. Start left turn. Okay, we put it to 200. Let it. Now that it's turning to the left, you can cross that arrow, no problem here. 200 will be here. There it is. We're going to fly heading up 200, and we will tell it to track as already input here, radial 246. Okay, now I'm gonna switch to nav, so that now tracks radial 246. So far so good, but now we have to be at 18.2 DME. Okay, so now that we have climbed, I'm gonna increase my airspeed, and we will be still within limitation, no problem. So I'm just gonna squeeze the airspeed. Let me get first established on the radial, and because it's gonna be a long portion of flight before we reach 18.2 DME. Okay, now I'm established. 8,000 feet, check. Tracking radial 246, check. Is it the VOR? Yeah. This one, is it the ILS? Yes. So what I will do is switch back to heading. There it is. Now if you want to continue inbound here, you wait for, because it was just passing the station, as you can see, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. Now we can switch back. Okay, and it will continue to track the proper radial 246. So now 2.4, 2.5. So we have to reach 18.2. So what I will do is I will skip ahead, and once we are about to reach 18.2, I will return. So we have reached 16.4, 16.5 nautical miles. So as already explained, we will offset 30 degrees inside the holding pattern area, so that will give us 216. It's going to be roughly here for the teardrop, and I will also be reducing my airspeed so that we can maneuver a little bit better once we are in the holding pattern. So 18.7. So once I turn inside, I will also be using the here. There it is. I'm ready to switch to heading mode. That is 18.2. Now I will turn 30 degrees to the left. So it's on 10. Okay, so I will adjust course to 066. So it's still, DM is still nav 2, and here it's still nav 1. So once I've finished my 1 minute countdown, if you have a timer it's better, but otherwise you just use this method. If it was at 10 when you looked, the next time that big needle gets back to 10, that's your cue. It's a 1 minute. There you go. 1 minute, and I will do a right turn. There we go. I initiate a right turn. That's what is this going to describe that teardrop. Here you can also reduce the speed if you're not comfortable with the speed it's flying. And from there it's the usual traffic pattern. It was only the entry that was not traffic pattern, holding pattern. Once again, if I say traffic pattern, you know I meant holding pattern, and we can even switch to nav because we've already properly set up our instruments. So I will just do the first turn, but it's the same as we've been doing. So once we reach 18.2, we will do the right turn. So once again, as per the chart, it's either left turn for the holding pattern or right turn. So 20.5. Always I like to keep the heading bug where the course is until I need to make changes. So yeah, that's it. I'm just gonna do the first turn, and then you know the drill. We've already explained holding pattern, how to fly them. So 19.9. So once again, it reaches 18.2. We do our right turn. This will bring us to the outbound course. So apparently it's raining. So I can already position the heading bug a little bit to the right here, because that's the direction in which we will be turning. 18.6. Hope you can see. 18.5. Still nav 2, that is the ILS frequency. 18.4. 18.3. Now I switch to heading, and it's going to make the right turn. And once it has started the right turn, I just turn the heading bug all the way to the other side of that yellow arrow here. And from there, once it completes the turn, you count 1 minute, and as we've been doing for the other holding pattern. So once again, if at any point I say traffic pattern in the video, I meant holding pattern. So yeah, this is it. So I hope you find this video helpful. If you do, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in another video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.